What is up, folks? Jorge Anito here. Thanks for coming over. Welcome back. You know we would eventually go there. Yes, the deck review of the Tom Foolery playing cards by Mr. Tom Mullica, printed by United States Playing Card Company, sent to me via Craig Roccanova. There a couple weeks back. And yeah, big thanks to Craig for this wonderful gift. You could see that it was autographed by Tom Mullica himself, and I just wanted to mention the cigarettes that I used at the beginning were nothing more than bubble gum. We have this old style candy shop here in my hometown, and so I went up there the other day, and me and Addie and got some candy. They have all kind of cool little candies. This is something from the 80s and actually in the early 90s, but they have like a lot of older type candy. So yeah, there's that. Who is Tom Mullica? Who doesn't know Tom Mullica? Wow, great performance artist, great sleight of hand magician, pantomime artist, puppetry work. This guy did it all. I mean, he was a great artist through and through. These cards were printed in 1984, only after Tom and his buddy opened the Tom Foolery Magic Bar and Theater down in Atlanta, Georgia. You can actually find footage on YouTube if you just search Tom Foolery or Tom Mullica. There actually is some videos of him that you can still purchase. I noticed at Vanishing Ink they still have an evening at the Tom Foolery with Tom Mullica. So without further ado, guys, let's get into these cards. You'll notice it has a cellophane on the outside. It didn't originally come with that. This is one that I just put over it to protect the signature. On the back, you'll see this is the back design of the card. Now, what USPCC has done, it appears, is taken a card and actually glued it to the back in some way. So, which is something you normally don't see. I don't know that I've ever seen that before, so it's very interesting. It says playing cards on the side, on either side, the United States Playing Card Company ad copy at the bottom, and of course, Cincinnati, Ohio, making this deck technically a blue seal. When you crack the deck open, you'll notice a longer tongue flap than what we're used to. This is what some of the decks used to look like back in the day, especially the Jerry's Nuggets. When you get the cards out of the box, there will actually be a cellophane wrapped around these cards. So instead of putting it on the box, it is wrapped around the cards, kind of like how Cardamundi does now. Not only do they put the cellophane on the box, but also around the deck inside. The back design is the same that we just looked at on the box. You have a picture of Tom right there stuffing his face with cigarettes. Famous for his cigarette work. Dude swallowed so much tobacco, so many napkins. It was actually discovered this from Craig. He let me know that Tom actually suffered several ulcers and stomach problems because of doing just this act, where he would swallow so many cigarettes and then a bunch of napkins, like thick napkins. If you ever watch the act, you'll see what I'm talking about. Swallow so much paper and tobacco. But it was so hilarious. And even though it caused him so much pain, because the audience loved the act so much, it was so hilarious, he continued doing it. And so, there you have him. On either side, the Tom Foolery Magic Bar and Theater. This is a normal bicycle deck. So you have the jokers just there. And so you'll see typical courts of, a standard bicycle deck. We'll just look at the Ace of Spades really quick. And there's the other joker. Identical jokers, by the way. So right there. So yeah, standard faces, standard bicycle faces throughout. Of course, according to the dating system, how to date USPCC cards, you'll look at this little number at the bottom, and really what's most important is that is that letter just there, F. So this deck would have been printed in 1984, which it was. It's very awesome. I was only 2 years old when this deck was produced. 2 years old. Wow. Okay, now the stock and finish. This is very interesting. I don't even know if I could put it into words, but you'll notice it's very hard to see, but there is an air cushion finish on this side, but it's not as much as like the standard bikes. It's like it's barely pressed, because on the opposite side it's completely smooth. It's an odd thing to see from USPCC. Normally it would be, you know, either air cushion on both sides or smooth on both sides, what have you. This is smooth on the face, air cushion on the back, and it's just a very, very light press. These cards are exceptionally thin, but since they are smooth and on this stock, it's not, you won't get much in the way of spreads or like fans. And that's mainly because I think this was a novelty item that Tom sold at his bar. He also used this deck to perform at his own shows. And so this was, you know, this was a novelty item. Nowadays it's a tribute deck paying homage to one of the greatest American magicians to ever exist. As far as packet cuts and things like that, brilliant. These cards are so thin, making double lifts look very much like a single card. Beautiful. But as far as, yeah, the handling, as far as like the spreads and fans, it does suffer a little bit. I do have to say one more thing about this finish. The only other place where I've seen this before is in this old Arco Streamline deck. Now this does say linen finish. And what's interesting is they've done the same thing. On one side, it's almost smooth. You can actually see just faint dimples from the air cushion. But on the other side is where it has the linen finish. So you can, I don't know if you can kind of make out the lines going, you know, up and down on this side. And just ever so slight air cushion dots on this side. So, of course, this was before USPC bought them out. But, yeah, that's the only other deck that I know where, yeah, there's two different types of finish on either side. It's very odd, but it's kind of cool because it makes it really unique. And let me just reiterate, the most important thing about these cards is just the nostalgia and the historical value that comes with owning a deck of cards that commemorate the life and work of one of the greatest magicians around. Tom Mullica, I believe that he passed in 2006. I could be wrong there. But yeah, great magician. I'll just bust out a couple shuffles here to show you. And I've realized, too, that the more that you do handle these, the better they become. Obviously, breaking them in will do a lot of justice. And at the end of the day, it's just a really nice commemorative tribute deck of cards. Awesome that it's signed by Tom Mullica himself. Thanks again, Craig Roccanova. Guys, I appreciate you stopping by, checking out the Tom Foolery playing cards by Tom Mullica and USPCC. Have a great night.